What's going on, guys? Here with another episode of Engineering Series. This will be the third episode. Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. Back for another one. If you haven't seen the other two videos that I've posted recently, go ahead and check them out. They're up on my channel. Today's topic, all right? Today's topic will be on tips, or I should say academic tips, right? So the previous video, like I said, if you haven't seen it, go ahead and check it out. But just to give you a brief overview of what I spoke in the previous video, is just some things you got to get sorted out before starting your academic journey into the engineering world, right? Into the engineering world. So, like I said, if you haven't seen that video, go ahead and take a look at it, but like I said, more or less that's what the second video was about. First video, go ahead and check it out as well, so you can catch the whole series from the beginning. Definitely recommend it. But let's go ahead and get a move on. So tips, man, academic tips. So for the ones who are listening, and maybe the majority of you are fresh out of high school, right? You already graduated. This will be your first summer or your first fall semester into college. You already have an idea of what studying really is all about, what academia is really all about. So this video may not pertain to you, but you can go ahead and tune in just to get further reinforcement. But for those who've kind of been out of the game and really don't know how to approach this, and really just forgot how to get in the habit of, being in that environment. Oh, by the way, before I even go any further, just to let y'all know, man, I know I'm wearing the same t-shirt that I was wearing on that second video. And it just so happens that, one, it's the most comfortable t-shirt I own. So it's my Sunday t-shirt. It's a good t-shirt. I like it. It fits perfectly right, loose, not too tight. And second, I like it, man. It's a good t-shirt. So fits good, and I like it. So don't tell. You might be thinking, oh, this guy only owns one t-shirt or whatever. Not really. I got plenty of other t-shirts, but it just so happens that I like this one, and this one fits me best, and I like how it feels. So just the observation I made there. But go ahead, going forward and talking about this academia thing, right? This video, this would definitely help a lot, and this would definitely help a lot of the people that have been out of the game, right? If you've kind of taken a 2-year, 3-year break from school, and you said, man, I really need to go back and all this, that, other. This will definitely help you out. And like I said, for those of you who are just graduating seniors from high school and going into college, this will and you've been on your studies, you've been about that life, you've been about the academia life. Definitely tune in for the reinforcement. So without further ado, let's go ahead and start, man. So this video, I'll go ahead and talk about, let's see, 4 tips, man. 4 tips that'll help you get through your academic. That has helped me, I should say. That has helped me get through the academic years, right? It might help you, it might not help you, but it wouldn't hurt. Like I said, it wouldn't hurt just to be tuned in and know about these things. So, first and foremost, the number one thing that you have to be really good at, being in college and they're taking in all the content that they're teaching you, will be learning how to listen. Now, what do I mean by that? Okay, so obviously, the first semester is going to look like 4 to 5 classes, 4 to 6 classes, and you're going to be up and down. In between classes, you're going to get from one class, you're going to jump into the next one, and so on and so forth. So you're going to be retaining a lot of material. You're going to be, covering your literatures, your literature classes, your English classes, your rhetorical writing classes, science, your chemistries, your biologies, whatever it may be, right? But in this case, because this is an engineering related topic, you're probably going through your calculuses, your maybe chemistries, your political sciences, your histories, things of that sort, right? All the prereqs, all the fundamentals or whatever. And then you might have like a 101, or as we call it, a 1301, where you'll go ahead and do the fundamentals of whatever discipline it is that you're in, right? Mechanical, civil, electrical, industrial, what have you, right? So it'll be like a 101 class on that. And so you'll probably be doing all those classes and you're gonna be taking in a lot of information. Now, here's the kicker. You're gonna be taking in so much that you're probably gonna be like, what is this and what, this ain't for me. Like, man, you're gonna be taking a lot of material, and so a lot of content for sure. You're taking a lot of information. So the best thing to do is to teach yourself how to listen. Now, how do you teach yourself? Well, you're gonna, obviously take notes, write this and write that, and then you're gonna, look them over. You're gonna go ahead and take a test, and then boom, next thing you know, you did really bad. So you're gonna be like, oh, so what did I do wrong? And you go ahead and reassess yourself, and then you say, okay, well, maybe this ain't working out. Maybe this is not how I'm approaching things. So you gotta try different things until you learn how to listen, until you learn how to take in the information that is being given to you, right? The content. So what has helped me get through all those years is to have an idea, right? Like to approach the class with an idea of what it is that I'm going to be covering, right? Or what it is that I'm going to be studying. So let's say you're going to be taking your calculus, for example, calculus 1, calc 1, or pre-cal. Let's just say it's pre-cal. So you're going to be taking pre-cal, and you say, well, what the fuck, what am I going to be expecting, or what do I do? Look it up, man. Just do your little research on, like, okay, so what is pre-cal all about, or what is calculus all about? And then you're going to get like, oh, integration and derivatives and all this. Okay, so what do you do, or what is that? And you're just going to be like, okay, so this is how you do it. Okay, cool. So that's the goal. But always keep in mind, like, of the objective, right? What's the purpose here to learn? And so when you go into your class and the professor starts, spitting out like, oh, this and that, you kind of have an idea of what he's talking about. And so you're just taking things in, boom, 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 boom. And next thing you know, you have a better understanding of what you got, and then consequently your grades will improve and your performance will improve. At least that's what's helped me throughout the academic years, is to have a broader idea of what it is that I'm going to be taking in, right? And so in my case, as a civil engineer, they're going to tell you, oh, cool, you're going to be taking a transportation class. Okay, well, transportation, really? Okay, so obviously, yeah, you're going to be talking about roads and geometric design and all this, that, other. But what's more to it about, like, what's there has to be more than just building roads and designing roads. You also have to consider, just like trips, right? Like trips and what constitutes a trip, right? And what areas attract certain trips, and then because everything's built for a purpose, and like all the layout, like all the roads and all that other stuff. So everything's with a purpose, right? And so you kind of have to see on your own and learn on your own on how it is that these things work, so that when professors going in there and saying all these things, you say like, okay, there it is. And so you reinforce that fact. So learning how to listen, also, as well as the professors just as human as us, man. So really, they're not they're just as efficient as they could possibly be. And so they're gonna go like, oh, this and that, and they're gonna be all over the place. Sometimes they're gonna remain linear, and sometimes they're gonna go all over the place, and it's gonna be hard for them to understand them. But nevertheless, they're there to provide their 110% effort. And so you also have to take in the main keys, like the main ideas from that particular lecture. Like, okay, if today was about multimodal transportation, okay, so really, what's that all about? Okay, well, it could be sidewalks, could be bicycles, what have you. Really, I'm just naming things out. You don't have to quote me on this, but you just have to get the main idea. Okay, so the main idea is, okay, pedestrian walkways and bus routes and all this. Okay, so you kind of have a general idea, and then you start dialing in on the details, right? You start focusing, okay, well, geometric design and trips from zone A to zone B, and how you're gonna work that out. It's you just start developing a sense of attachment to details, right? Like, okay, these are the finer details, but you gotta have the broader idea first, And so when you learn how to listen, you just learning to listen to the bigger picture. Like, okay, bigger picture. What is this really all about? And then you start working towards the finer details. Well, like I said, this is what's helped me out I did fairly well, man. I wasn't a 4.0 or wasn't. I was decent. I was okay. You know, I was fairly off pretty well. And so, like I said, so number one, learn how to listen, man. Learn how to listen. And so, with that being said, it'll take me over to my second step. My second tip is to make connections internally. Now, engineers, right? We're supposed to come up with the solution. We're supposed to come up with the solution to a problem. We're supposed to know everything, right? Like we're supposed to be, oh, this happens because of that, and this, and that, this, and that. We're supposed to do all these things, right? Know all these things. And so, how do you get to that point? Okay, well, first of all, you gotta practice. You gotta be exposed to it. You gotta be practicing the profession, right? That's one thing. But second thing that kind of reinforces that is you gotta make the connections internally. Okay, so in academia, they'll go ahead and teach you all the basics, right? At least speaking in the discipline of civil engineering, right, which is the discipline that I chose, that I participate in. You see a lot of these things out here, right, in the modern world, like in the world we see like roads, bridges, buildings, what else? Industrial areas or industrial complexes and sewer lines, water lines, and water treatment plants. We see all these things, right? And then we only see them from the surface, right? We only see like the contractors working on these projects and all these construction sites. But when you're in school, you're seeing like, okay, it makes sense as to why all these things happen, right? So, case in point. When I was in my junior year, right? Junior year, I believe it was my junior year, my second semester in junior year. I had the opportunity to participate in research at a water treatment facility, and when I was there, I made a lot of connections. Like, okay, it makes sense as to why we get water, or how we get water. You know, like, because obviously most of us, I should say, take water for granted, right? We just open the faucet and we open the shower head and the water comes out, and that's pretty much it. But really, there's a lot more that goes into it behind the scenes, you know. And working in that facility and taking the classes that I took and seeing how everything ties in to provide civilians potable water is very, very much interesting. And so you make those connections internally, like, that's okay, it makes sense, like, okay, you know. So when you do that in academia, it'll help you reinforce a lot to what it is that you're learning, man. So make connections, man. I mean, there is a reason why people teach you these like fundamentals, you know, like your calculus, that's just mathematics, man. Mathematics is you have to have a really strong foundation in mathematics, you know, and learn how to, you know, integrate, derive, and you know, have good algebraic skills and all this other stuff, because there's going to be much more complex problems that arise in the real world, right? And as an engineer, and so I can tell you right now, you will be, you know, learning how to apply those skills later on, right? And so you got to make those connections internally, right? So learn how to make like, so that's why we do it. So that's why it's like, okay. In the academic realm, you're going to do that every now and then, right? But once you get out in the real world and you start exercising your profession, right? Whether it be a double E, like I said, electrical engineer, civil, mechanical, industrial, you could start making those connections out there and be like, so that's why it works, right? So that's why type thing. So second tip, make connections internally, right? Third tip, and this goes out to all of the people that are 4.0s and are freaking perfectly, you know, perfect grades, perfect performance, perfect everything, right? Listen here, man. At one point in your career, whether it be in academia or research or in the professional realm, you're gonna fail. There's gonna be failure for sure, man. I can't guarantee you a smooth ride once you start doing college, man, like, or anywhere else, man. You're gonna fail, and it's a given that you're gonna fail, man, because it just shows that, number one, you're inexperienced, which is okay, because that's how you learn. You're gonna make mistakes and you're gonna learn from it, and then you're gonna reinforce and or not reinforce, but kind of readjust yourself so you can perform better. You're gonna do that, right? You're gonna fail. But here's a tip: if you're gonna fail and you know you're gonna fail quickly, and then readjust. Now, this tip I got it from some of the colleagues that I work with in research, in the research team I was in, and I can't recall what exactly. They were working on a desal project, or they were working towards a desal project, and the lady in charge of this project, who's part of the research team then and there, was saying that, you know, if you're gonna fail quickly and then readjust. So I was like, oh, okay, makes sense. And so I kind of adjusted. I kind of took that approach into my last year and senior year and like into the harder classes. And so sure enough, man, in tests, you know you're gonna fail. You're like, go for it. Now, funny thing is, it can go two ways. One, you're gonna fail, you expect it, and you readjust. Two, maybe you were just overthinking things and you did okay, and it turns out you were performing perfectly fine. So it could happen. Two of those things could either happen, right? So you can either, like I said, fail, which you already know you're gonna fail, and you already know you're gonna do miserably, and then you say, okay, fuck it. How do I readjust? How do I go back, and how do I fix it? How do I work on this? Or two, you're gonna be like, era pa tanto, it wasn't that bad. I mean, I was just overthinking, like, fuck. Which I want to say that's most of the time, right? Is because we let the fear take over us, and we're like, oh shit, like, it's too hard, it's too impossible, I can't. And so next thing you know, you just did it, and it wasn't that bad, right? So if you're gonna fail quickly. Because why do you say fail quickly? Or why do I say fail quickly? Well, because the lingering fear that stays with you, right? When you're about to commit an error, when you know you're about to fuck up, it stays with you. It eats you, and it does you no good. It does you no good. It just kind of like, like, for example, right? I'm not saying this is the idea that this is the approach you should have, but for example, right? You're a bomb disarmer, you're gonna disarm a bomb, right? And you know what you signed up for. You know exactly what you signed up for, man. You know that at any point, at any given time, you fuck up and you cut the wrong cable, that shit's over, man. Like, you're fucking done. So, say you're gonna disarm a bomb, man. You can go either two ways. Either it blows up on you, and then the next life you're like, almost fucking, I mean, it happened, type shit, it fucking happened, whatever. Or you're just like, oh shit, it wasn't that bad, right? So maybe that's the worst analogy I could possibly give right now. But it's kind of like saying, like, oh, just rip off the Band-Aid. Fuck it, like, just rip it off. If you rip off the Band-Aid slowly, because it's gonna hurt, right? I actually, yeah, the Band-Aid analogy is much better. Don't listen to the bomb analogy. Don't listen to that. Disregard that. So let's stick to the Band-Aid analogy for now. So if you do it slowly, you're like, fuck, man, you can literally feel the adhesive portion of the fucking Band-Aid ripping every single layer of skin you got, and you're like, shit, man, just yank that shit off and Domino's. Let's get out. Let's do it. Yeah, fuck it. That's the approach that you guys ought to have in academia. So, you're gonna test, which obviously in most of the cases when you take a test in college, you're gonna be timed. You're like, hey, you guys only got 90 minutes for this exam. It's gonna be 30 questions. 10 of them are gonna be open-ended. 20 are gonna be multiple choice. And good luck. Boom. So you're gonna be like, oh fuck, you're just gonna get on it. If you know you're gonna fail and you have a question right there and it's telling you like, oh fuck, I don't know this. Fuck it, man. Fuck it. Fail quickly. Go on to the next one. You might have a better chance to answering the rest of the questions than to just stick on that one and you're just dying there, killing your fucking time. Like, there's a B or is it C? You're sweating buckets there and shit. Like, nah, nigga, just boom, orale. C, orale. It's probably wrong. Let's just go on to the next one. Boom. And then you say, okay, this one for sure, it has to be A. This one, okay, I know this one. Boom, boom, boom. And, you just move. Right? So that tells you basically what I'm trying to say is it's okay to think, like it's okay to take your time and think, but do that on your own time, to think and ponder on things on your own time. But when it's time to perform, let's do it, because in the real world, people don't have your sweet time for you to do things your own way. You just gotta be like, and if you're afraid to fail, you're gonna fucking kill a lot of time, and time out here is money, man. Time out here is money. gotta move quick, you gotta move fast, you gotta do things efficiently, man. Be efficient. And so if you're afraid to make mistakes, and you've never made a mistake in your academia years, and you go into the professional realm and that mentality, when time comes, bro, and it will come, trust me, it will come, where you'll go ahead and find yourself in a position where your manager or your supervisor tells you, hey, I need you to do this, but I need to have it by Thursday. We got to move on this quick. And he's like, and you kind of see it, and you're like, oh, I'll put it off till later, or I don't know how to do this. But then again, you're afraid to admit that you don't know shit, or you don't know how to work it. And so what happens? You just put that shit to the side, and then you work on other things. And when the time comes, you're still like, oh, what do I do? Bill just told me to, oh no, I need to turn this in by Thursday, but what do I do? And you probably just pawn it off to someone else, and someone else will probably do for you in 10 seconds or 20 seconds. And you know, that's the way you fucking operate, and eventually it'll come back and bite you in your ass. And that's, nobody likes to work with people like that, bro. So tip right here, man, this tip for sure will help you a lot, man. And I'm telling you to make mistakes and fail when you can. Right now is the time to fail, bro. It's time to educate yourself on how to become an efficient person, man. And I'm not saying this just so you can become a perfect 5-star employee or whatever. No, man. It's just, if you're efficient at what you do, can nothing really hold you back, man. You don't have anything lingering on your shoulders or any weight on your shoulders. Like, see, I did my shit. I did what I was supposed to do. That's the end of it. And most of the times when that happens, you live peacefully. Nothing haunts you. You're just doing things how they're supposed to be done. Out of here. And so try to learn how to fail. And of course, and if you really don't know things, ask questions, man. Ask around, which will kind of lead me to the next tip, right? But for sure, the third tip: if you're gonna fail quickly and then readjust, man. Learn from your mistakes and see, okay, maybe I shouldn't do that, right? You know, I'm not, and it's gonna be hard, man, because I still struggle with it. Like, I still commit the same mistakes every now and then, but I've noticed that I've become efficient and better at the things that I do, right? Because time is money, man. Especially when you're in the professional realm, time is money. So definitely tip number 3, focusing on that. Now the last tip right here would be related to teamwork and solo work. So what do I mean by teamwork and solo work? So there's gonna be a lot of shit that you might not know, man. You're gonna meet people in college that have already 2 years or 3 years into their program, and you're probably gonna have classes with them. And so ask around, man. I mean, don't be bothersome, bro. Don't be bothersome. Don't be dumb. Don't be wasting people's time. Like, you know, be conscientious of the fact that they're still going through the program and they're still doing their work. And of course, having to help you out is just another fucking burden. But be more precise. O sea, we say in Spanish, like, tienes que maliciarla un poco. Like, you gotta think, you know, outside of your own fucking box for a little bit and just be like, okay, there's people out here that are busy doing their shit. How is it that I can just carry my load, but at the same time get help? Okay, so here's the deal. Teamwork, which will happen more often than not, right? And especially in the more concentrated classes of your program, whether it's, like I said, EE, CE, ME, you're gonna do teamwork a lot. Now, obviously, you want to learn how to communicate, right? You want to learn how to work together in groups. You want to learn how to provide. You want to learn how to be efficient. You want to learn how to do all these things because that's just how it works, man. Like, in the professional realm, you can't just carry everything on your own. You gotta do things with other people, communicate, work, and you know, so on. So you gotta work as a team, right? And so you'll kind of get a lot of exposure to that in your college years. And so, what I think is that the time that you spend in college, in the classroom or in campus or in your studies, 10 to 25% of the time should be with teams, right? Communicate, just 10 to 25%, right? Only that particular fraction of the time should be dedicated to teamwork. The rest, which could be 75 to 90%, should be solo work. So, of course, you're gonna learn in a way that is best for you, that you feel is best for you, and that you feel it's sufficient for you, that you can grasp things and you can say, okay, well, I know myself and I know how to do this and I know how to do that. So, however, there are things that will go ahead and open you up to different horizons, different perspectives. You got to be open to that as well. But which is why the teamwork comes in. Like, oh, perhaps I didn't look at it that way. So you're definitely right? Like, you're definitely right. I should go ahead and look at it from that perspective, or what have you, right? But teamwork is always good, man, because you want to contribute. You want to learn how to be a team player, do your thing, and contribute to a bigger cause, right? Contribute to a bigger goal, to a bigger objective here. And so teamwork is good. Teamwork is definitely good. But then again, you got to learn how to carry your own weight, which is solo work, right? So if a professor's giving you assignments, is giving you tasks or whatever, and you're pretty much not sure how to go about that, touch base with the professor, with one of the TAs, and say that, I have a question about this. How do you go ahead and work this out, or how do you? And I was like, okay, well, this is how you do it, and so on and so forth. And then you go on and do it on your own, and make connections, and do all these things that I told you about. Make connections, and learning how to listen, all this other stuff. But you're doing it on your own, right? And then when it comes to working in projects, participate, man. Like, sure, how do we do this? How do we do that? Listen to what other people are saying in your team. Be a good listener, because others are telling you, okay, well, certainly, you definitely can do it this way. Do it that way. Okay. Well, you know what? Maybe I don't agree. Maybe we should do it like this. Or, just collaborate and put in your opinion and see what happens, man. Because teamwork is very important too, and learning how to be a team player is good. But you don't want to cling on too much to it. You don't want to be that dude that is always dependent on other people to learn and to get the answers and to get work done. You definitely don't want to you don't want to be that guy. You just want to carry your load, do your work, so that you can benefit from it in the long run, right? So like I said, in your academia years, sure thing, 25 to 10% of your time should be spent in teamwork or collaborating or asking questions. You're like, oh, this, that, other, okay, cool. The rest of the time, which could be 75 to 90% of the time, should be solo work, making connections, studying, reading, doing your routine, whatever, so that you can get a better grasp of whatever it is that you're learning. And so with that, those were the 4 tips that I have for you guys today. And just to recap, number 1 is to learn how to listen, right? Don't just be writing notes, whatever. Don't be copying down whatever the professor's putting on the board. You got to make these connections. You got to be like, okay, so that's why. Bigger picture. Grab the bigger picture stuff. Grab the bigger picture, and then on your own downtime, work on the details. Okay, like, well, that's why this happens. That's why that happens. That's why, and so forth. So learn how to listen, man. Don't get too overwhelmed with, or don't stress about all the things that your professor's throwing at you. Just learn how to listen, catch the big picture, And so that's tip number 1. Number 2, make connections internally. Try and have a lot of I see, no wonder, okay. So that's why these things, okay, make those connections internally, right? That'll help you reinforce your learning a lot. And you're gonna have, in the academia, you're probably not gonna have as much of those experiences as you would when you go out there in the real world and say, okay, no wonder why, okay, this is it. You're gonna have more of those experiences once you get out the door and you start doing your thing. Number 3, and I would say you focus more on this one. If you're gonna fail, which will happen often, fail quickly and just readjust. Try to readjust. Have a good effort to readjust, man. We're not perfect. Certainly not machines that are just programmed to just do shit like no. We're humans, man. We have flaws just as much as everyone else. So try to work on readjusting and making things happen, man. So like I say, if you're gonna fail, which will happen often, fail quickly and then readjust. And then the last tip, invest your time. Invest 25 to 10% of your time in academia in doing teamwork, and the other 75 to 90% of the time doing solo work, man. That's all you. It's just you and your own understanding and your own development of your own ideas, right? Of your own perspective on things. Teamwork will help you go ahead and provide an input to the situation, to the cause or whatever, and then solo work, you're just reinforcing everything on your own. It's like, okay, this is why, and so on and so forth. So definitely, man, those were the 4 tips that I have for you today. If you like this video, go ahead and subscribe to my channel. Give it a thumbs up. I'll be trying to post on a weekly basis. Wednesdays during evening times. sometimes I'm so caught up with work or caught up with things that I got going around the apartment and or outside of work, and so I may not post till the following day on Thursday, but I will try and post on a weekly basis. And so definitely, man. And by the way, I have other videos coming along too. The series that I started off with, Tunes and Discussions, I'm still working on that. I'll go ahead and see if I can get that rolling again. And so yeah, man. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, and you guys enjoy the rest of your day. Talk to you soon.